Everyone talks about what Japan does right. The vending machines, the efficiency, the innovation, the bullet trains that arrive on time down to the second, the convenience stores on every corner, the robots serving ramen, the cherry blossoms in ancient temples. It's easy to fall in love with the idea of Japan as this perfect, futuristic society that somehow still honors tradition. But after living here, after researching extensively, after going beyond the tourist attractions and the viral YouTube clips, I've noticed something nobody wants to talk about. There are things Japan is actually behind on, real problems that get ignored because the narrative of Japan does everything better is so strong that admitting flaws feels almost forbidden. Here are 10 things Japan got wrong that nobody wants to admit. And before you think this is just criticism for the sake of it, it's not. So let's get into it. Number 1, fax machines everywhere. In 2026, Japan still runs on fax machines. And I don't mean occasionally. I mean government offices, hospitals, major corporations, small businesses, they all require faxed documents for official communication. While the rest of the world moved to email and cloud storage 20 years ago, Japan is still stuck in 1985, feeding paper through machines that make strange beeping noises and print out confirmation sheets nobody reads. Why? A cultural resistance to change and a deep belief that physical documents are somehow more official than digital ones. There's this idea that a faxed signature carries more weight than an email, that paper creates accountability in a way pixels don't. But what it really creates is inefficiency. During the pandemic, when the world shifted to remote work almost overnight, Japan struggled. Not because the technology didn't exist, but because entire systems were built around the assumption that people would always be physically present to send and receive faxes. Number 2, cash-dependent society. Japan loves to talk about being futuristic. High-speed rail, robotics, advanced manufacturing, but try paying with a credit card at a local restaurant and see what happens. Many places are still cash only in 2026, not because they can't afford card readers, but because that's just how it's done. Cash is king, always has been. While China went fully mobile payment years ago, while street vendors in India accept digital transactions, while even small markets in Kenya use mobile money, Japan is still counting yen. People carry wallets stuffed with bills and coins. ATMs are everywhere because you need them. And the irony? Japan invented QR codes. The technology that powers payment systems worldwide came from here, but they barely use it for payments. Number 3, work culture and overwork. The concept of karoshi exists in Japanese. It means death from overwork. The fact that a word for this exists, that it's common enough to need its own term, tells you everything you need to know about Japan's work culture. While Europe has 35-hour work weeks and mandatory vacation time, while countries like Denmark prioritize work-life balance as a national value, Japan still glorifies staying late at the office, even if you're not being productive. There's this unspoken rule that leaving before your boss looks bad, that taking all your vacation days seems uncommitted, that working yourself to exhaustion is a sign of dedication rather than dysfunction. This isn't innovation, this isn't efficiency. It's exhaustion disguised as dedication, and it's killing people, literally. Heart attacks, strokes, suicide, all linked to overwork, all preventable. What makes it worse is that much of this overtime isn't even productive. People stay late because they're expected to, not because there's work to do. They sit at their desks, pretending to look busy, waiting for the right moment to leave without drawing judgment. Number 4, gender inequality. Japan ranks 118th out of 146 countries in gender equality. Let that sink in. One of the world's largest economies, a member of the G7, ranks below many developing nations when it comes to how it treats women. Separate train cars exist because groping is so common that the solution became segregation rather than enforcement. Many companies still expect women to quit when they get married or have children. Career tracks are often divided by gender before you even start. And while Nordic countries have achieved near 50% female representation in government, Japan's parliament is over 90% male. This isn't about traditional values, it's institutional discrimination. Women are paid less for the same work. They're passed over for promotions. They're pushed into part-time roles with no benefits. The talent being wasted is staggering. Half the population facing barriers that have nothing to do with ability and everything to do with outdated systems that refuse to change. Number 5, digital infrastructure. Japan's websites look like they're from 2005. I'm not exaggerating. Government services that should be simple online forms require you to visit an office in person, fill out paper documents, and wait weeks for processing. Number 6, immigration resistance. Japan has a population crisis, more deaths than births every year. An aging society with fewer young people to support it. The workforce is shrinking. Rural areas are emptying out. Schools are closing because there aren't enough children. The solution is obvious: immigration. Bring in workers, welcome families, build a multicultural society that can sustain itself. Canada does it, Australia does it, Germany does it. These countries see immigration as an economic necessity and a cultural strength. But Japan accepts fewer refugees than almost any developed nation. Even when facing a severe labor shortage, the response has been to create robots and automation rather than welcome foreign workers. There's a preference for maintaining ethnic homogeneity over ensuring economic survival. You can't sustain a society when your population is declining and aging simultaneously. You can't fill jobs when there aren't enough people. Other countries have learned that diversity isn't a threat, it's strength. Japan has that data too. It's just choosing demographic collapse instead. Number 7, mental health stigma. Japan has one of the highest suicide rates in the developed world, but mental health care is practically taboo. Therapy is seen as shameful. Admitting you're struggling is seen as weakness. Schools and workplaces have almost no mental health support systems in place. There are literally forests known for suicides. Aokigahara, a place so associated with death that it has signs encouraging people to reach out for help before it's too late. And yet the broader culture still treats mental health as something to hide, not address. While other countries have normalized therapy, while mental health awareness campaigns run regularly, while workplaces offer counseling services, Japan sweeps it under the rug. If you're struggling, you deal with it quietly. You don't burden others. The cost is human lives, preventable deaths, people who needed help but couldn't ask for it because the stigma was too strong. Number 8, food waste. From packaging. Yes, Japanese packaging is beautiful, it's elegant, it's precise. Everything is wrapped with care, but it's also incredibly wasteful. Individually wrapped grapes, bananas in plastic, cookies wrapped in plastic inside a plastic box, inside a plastic bag with a plastic handle. Japan has a serious plastic problem while simultaneously claiming to be environmentally conscious. The contradiction is jarring. On one hand, meticulous recycling rules. On the other, absurd amounts of single-use packaging that nobody questions. The EU banned single-use plastics in 2021. Other countries have implemented plastic bag taxes and restrictions, but Japan is still wrapping everything 3 times because presentation matters more than environmental impact. The aesthetic of perfection overrides the reality of waste. And it's not just packaging. Food waste in general is high. Convenience stores throw out perfectly good food every night because it passed an arbitrary freshness deadline. Number 9, earthquake preparedness gaps. Japan builds earthquake-resistant buildings. That part is true. Modern construction in major cities can withstand serious seismic activity. Building codes are strict. Engineering is advanced. New structures are genuinely impressive. But many older structures, especially in rural areas, would collapse in a major earthquake. Wooden homes from the 70s and 80s don't meet modern standards, and there's no mandate to upgrade them. People live in houses that wouldn't survive the next big quake, and there's no systematic plan to fix that. Tokyo runs earthquake drills regularly. Schools practice, offices prepare. But disaster response coordination during the 2011 tsunami was chaotic. Communication broke down. Evacuation plans failed. Being earthquake-prone doesn't automatically mean being prepared. It means knowing earthquakes will happen. Whether you've actually built systems that work when they're needed is a different question. Number 10, language education failure. Japanese students study English for 6 to 10 years, elementary school through high school. That's a decade of English education. And yet most graduates can't hold a basic conversation. They can't order food in English. They struggle with simple directions. Why? Because the focus is entirely on grammar tests and reading comprehension, not actual communication. Students memorize verb conjugations. They translate sentences. They fill out worksheets. But they never speak. They never practice real conversations. The entire system is designed to pass tests, not develop language ability. Meanwhile, countries like the Netherlands and Sweden have over 90% English proficiency rates, not because they're naturally better at languages, but because their education systems prioritize communication over memorization. Japan's English education produces people who can pass tests but can't actually communicate, which is the opposite of the point of learning a language. It's a massive investment of time and resources that produces almost no practical result. Look, I'm not saying Japan is a bad place. It does many things brilliantly. The trains run on time. The cities are clean. The food is incredible. There's genuine thoughtfulness in design and public systems that other countries should learn from. But the Japan is perfect narrative ignores real problems. and those problems hurt real people. Every country has flaws. The difference is whether you're honest about them, whether you're willing to look critically at what isn't working and actually try to fix it. If you found this perspective refreshing, subscribe for more content that goes beyond the surface. And let me know in the comments, what did I miss? What other things does Japan get wrong that nobody talks about? I genuinely love to hear your thoughts.